morning. Let's start off with an inspirational quote from Colin Powell. Success is the result of perfection, hard work, learning from failure, loyalty, and persistence. I'm Tammy Stencil. For those of you who do not know me, I'm the Agent Development Manager with AHCP. I work fairly closely with Dan, helping support him, and he is currently traveling again, and he's asked me to jump in and help him out. So, happy Motivation Monday. For those that are new here, common layout for what we do is we do a brief review of last week's tip of the week, then we continue on to a new tip, be it retention ideas, sales tips, important dates, carrier information, upcoming trainings. Then we do move on to the AHCP sales trends, letting everybody know what carriers and products are hot at the moment. And then we move into the sales techniques. This week is some of the common sales mistakes you want to avoid. So last week's tip of the week previously was the HII 3x2x2 plan. It has a pre-existing waiver when up to 3 months of coverage is selected, and the member opts out to apply for a second consecutive policy at the time of enrollment. That member is issued 2 separate policies. Once for the first policy, it expires, the member will receive a new member ID and card, new policy certificate, and their term with 100% coinsurance. And then on the second term is the deductibles waived. Why should members apply for the second policy at the time of enrollment? By choosing that option, members can apply for pre-existing condition waiver. So this will be waived on the conditions that were covered during the prior coverage period. And so the pre-existing condition waiver rider is available depending on certain states. You can check that out at ahcpsales.com. Go to our carriers tab, then the icon with HII, Health Insurance Innovations. Go to new appointment paperwork, brochures, or you can get a quote. It does require a login, so you do have to currently have an appointment with it. And it's under the Life Shield short-term medical. This week's tip of the week, I think, is pretty cool. It kind of follows similar to what HII has going on in certain ways. National General has found a solution to the 3-month cap on short-term medical, which that short-term medical 3-month cap is all across all short-term carriers, not just National General or HII. It's unfortunately law now. So you do have the opportunity where National General will contact your clients on your behalf. If your client still needs coverage, you will still be that point of contact. Your contact information will be included on all the email notifications, and you will be CC'd on all communications. But they will reach out to that client for you and see if they're interested in re-rolling if they still need additional coverage. So National General is going to be doing the work for you while you still get the credit. Your book of business is still yours. You still have the opportunity, to continue those commissions and sales. They all remain with you. If your client prefers to not receive those emails or calls from National General, all they have to do is opt out of the emails they'll receive. The opt-out link is provided in the email communication. And that moves us into the AHCP sales trends. Going into last week's sales, there was an increase of the short-term medical with National General and Golden Rule as the 2 top carriers leading the way. A huge increase in the fixed benefit sale. Fixed benefits, you need to remember there's no time duration limitations on those. They can continuously have renewals per year, and it has some great coverage to it. It looks like the General Agent Center, VBA, was 70% of the sales, and National General had 20% of the sales. There was an increase in the accident sales, accident benefits coverage with National General, as well as General Agent Center, VBA. There was a slight decrease with the critical illness, but Colorado Bankers Life, CBL, and National General are still leading the way for the two carriers that we have with critical illness. And then there was an increase in the National General PPO and Golden Rule dental plans. So that's fantastic. It sounds to me like you guys are doing some good upselling and cross-selling going on. So congratulations. Sales shout-outs on the limited benefits. Robert Swander, he's out of the Northeast there. He has a great team that he works with. Had some great limited benefit sales. There is that sales contest going on right now. Tatiana Santa Maria, she was doing fantastic with her NatGen sales. And then also Andy. Andy definitely has been coming up, making sure that his name has been on the board. So congratulations, guys. Kudos to you. Keep up those great sales with the limited benefits. And then we have these short-term medical sales. We have Elaine Sacante with the Golden Rule short-term medical. David Taxer in there as well. He's just following Elaine. He is coming in second there with the short-term medical sales with National General. And then Wendy Larson. She is just, you guys are just few policies behind each other, coming in strong. Keep up those sales. Good job. And we're going to move into the sales technique for the week. Common mistakes that you want to avoid. You know, these common mistakes may be killing your sales. If you want to be able to improve, make sure that you're not doing some of these. I think we have about 5 listed out, and you know, definitely we want to help you guys make sure that you can eliminate some of those, you know, things that may be holding you back. Some of the common mistakes that that we've come across. These concepts are from Stephen Schiffman, who has done sales training for companies like AT&T, Motorola, as well as U.S. health systems. These concepts are for any sales process out there. And with the change in health insurance and consumer base that is looking for health insurance expanding so quickly with ACA, and now we're not sure what's going to happen with ACA, we definitely want to make sure that we're doing some small tweaks in our process so we can maximize every opportunity. The first one is an interesting one. And with our industry, it's, this one is very pertinent, and it's not being obsessed. And by being obsessed, I don't mean working 18-hour days, not sleeping, but definitely more giving 100%, in the day in and day out. We are self-employed people who work for the world's worst boss. So, you definitely ourselves, but we need to make sure that we are working and we are out there. You should be obsessed with knowing everything that you can in regards to the industry, being able to follow along with, how quickly things change. You should be obsessed, with being able to help your clients find the right product. Products change on a regular basis, so keeping, up to date with all your carriers, making sure that, you have all of your underwriting understandings. And we like to talk about our solutions with selling. We should be obsessed with finding, that proper solution, for those customers. Health insurance is a hard industry because no two companies like to play the same game the same way. You have to learn the ins and outs of so many products to be successful. And when you're successful, the payoffs are just astonishable. I mean, you have that opportunity to just really, make some great leaps and bounds out there. You should be able to be obsessed with your daily routine, knowing what you're going to do and what direction you have. Wake up, know what you're going to do instead of, sitting down and turning on that computer. Sit down with what next concept. You should know what you're doing to create that to-do list so you know what needs to get done. Use Windows Notepad as a great opportunity. It's a great way to create that to-do list. Making a list helps us visualize what all work has to be done. At the same time, it helps us prioritize what needs to be done first. It's a good way to keep on track of what needs to be done and not get disorganized. It helps us, just be able to stay on track. do your least favorite things first on that list. Naturally, we go through, the list and try and get the quickest thing, off the books as quick as we can. The sooner you can get those off your plate, the more it's going to free up time for things you do like to do or don't mind doing. And when you keep a list, it helps you, stay accountable. It's more guaranteed work that the task is going to be completed. It gives us a clear view of the work and its course. You can go through and you can actually see what you've accomplished for the day. And having to make a list, it sets targets for what we'd want to do in that work, being able to get that done. We tend to drag our feet on those things that we don't like to do, and we tend to procrastinate. So, it's a huge time waster. Definitely make sure that you try and get those done and out of the way first thing, so that way you can move on to the most important things. Another thing to do about being obsessed is keeping your energy and motivation up. You should start each day with a positive motivation. If you don't have a solid quote on your wall, you should have one. You need something that tells you, yes, today is the day that you're going to break your closing record. If you are ever down in the dumps, you need to get a pick-me-up. We're here to help. Definitely reach out to Dan or myself. We can help you get through that. That's what we're here for. And then the last is to have discipline. You need to have discipline to wake up and read that quote, discipline to learn about the products, discipline to keep going. If you are striking out on 20 calls, set that goal for 5 more, then make them. This is a game of numbers, and to make the numbers, you will need to be obsessed and motivated, and you will be successful. And then, the second thing is not listening to your prospects. This is huge to me. I'm a big one about making sure, that this is something that hits home with everyone. The next one just hits on one of our subjects we've covered in the Motivation Mondays in the past, just kind of a refresher. One of the 3 reasons why customers don't buy. This is in there as well, not listening to your prospects. One of the most important things to do in a sale is listen to what your prospect is saying, but also what they're not saying. If you honestly believe that what you do and products you carry, then you know that you can fix their issues. You shouldn't have to do too much, to kind of go over that with them. One thing I've noticed with new salespeople is that they like to talk about themselves or how the product could and should be in their life. If you're going to talk about yourself, please, please, please talk like you're a person. People buy from people. They don't want to buy from a salesperson. The sales process is about the customer. They should be talking and you should be listening. You should be jotting down notes about what they're saying. You need to pick up on the parts of their story where they may have left something out or areas that they're slowing down on because it means that they're thinking, and usually something they're worried about, which means it's important to them. You need to listen for subtle cues. Did their speech pick up? If you're face-to-face, are they no longer making eye contact with you? What in that conversation is inconsistent? That their points are already in the customer's brains that you should be bringing up during the presentation. The client in fact finding should be doing 80% of the talking, and you should be doing 100% of that listening just to help guide the conversation through those open-ended questions. Are you happy with your current carrier plan? Are you happy with the current usage? What is it about your current plan that you like? What is it about your current plan that you don't like? Future needs. What's more important, saving money or having a plan that works the same across the nation? You need to be able to listen to what their actual answers are for those open-ended questions. And then definitely the third one is not empathizing with the prospect. This is kind of important because a lot of salespeople are just worried about throwing numbers on the board, but not long-term sales gains. If you're really listening, connect and fix the prospect's problems, you won't have as many chargebacks and you'll get more referrals. This is really talking about why the prospect is calling, getting to the bottom line of it. You need to listen to their solution and empathize with it. A lot of people dread talking to the salespeople and will put up a guard, but a great way to get them to knock it down is to relate and listen. Finding out about your prospect, their background, and their situation. It's my experience that salespeople miss opportunities to build trust by not asking hard questions. They're not getting enough information. This either comes from being naive or lack of proper training to truly get that communication with the client. Understanding what your client's needs and client services is making a huge difference. You can either be one of their insurance agents or their insurance agent. It's a big difference. Keep in mind that you need to think past yourself. You are a middle-aged person talking to a 22-year-old. Think about what it's like to be that age. Put yourself in their role. If you cannot relate or if you do not care, they're not going to buy from you. People are going through different areas of their lives and will need this for different reasons. Most people search for insurance are going through most, difficult times of their lives, maybe a divorce or a loss of a job, moving out of the state. When I work with newer agents and they find out why a person is calling, I see what their reaction is. I can't tell you how many don't say, "I'm sorry to hear that." They don't emphasize, they just move into the next step. They need to make sure that the prospect is feeling heard and is comfortable talking about their situation. And seeing the prospect as an adversary. It's my personal favorite, and that I know salespeople have issues with. We come to think, sales is a boxing match, and whoever hits the hardest wins. That's not really the case. Sales is kind of more like dating. Whoever can listen and pair the best wins. I can't tell you how many people get excited for objections so they can just see how big of a mallet that they can pull out to hit the client over the head with. Sales is not a me versus you. Objections are a request for help. When we, disagree or get frustrated, we stop listening. So when you're planning what you're going to say next, then you're not listening. Sales are creating that win-win situation. You match the customer's needs and you get money. It's a win. You want to create that positive experience with your client to help them with the people that you want to work with. People don't want to work with people who are overly aggressive. They don't want to feel, listen to, or they don't want to listen and only feel pressure. They want a positive experience so they can feel comfortable and want to come back with questions or additional needs. This is, going to help with retention of the customer, help with receiving referrals as well. People want to work with people who are knowledgeable, professional, and fun. They want to work with agents who they think listen to their needs and with agents who can fix their problems. You need to be that agent. You need to be professional and trustworthy. Most important thing to most people is their family's health, their financial security, in case something really bad happens. And last is so hard now with the industry age that we're in, it's getting distracted. I think every salesperson gets distracted, be it from emails, instant messaging, people in your office, your cell phone. When selling, do anything in relation to your job, give it 100% of your attention. When I was selling, I'd block off an hour for calls and put away anything that could distract me. I wouldn't check emails while dialing. I would keep my cell phone away and have to sign on the door that said "leave me alone" or something in that regard, in use, something that just so people wouldn't come and interrupt. I would keep that cell phone put away, and I would just make sure that I was just devoting 100% attention to my job at that time. What the result was is I was consistently top in sales. When I was talking to the client, I would block everything else out. You cannot let yourself get distracted or let the number 2 mistakes of not listening. You'll miss those subtle cues. So anytime that you have text messaging popping up on your phone while you're talking to that customer and you get distracted, you're going to miss all those little things and details about your customers that you're going to need. Turn off all those distractions. Let yourself focus. You're making a huge financial and health impact on your clients' lives. They deserve at least 100% of your attention, whether it be 30 minutes of your sitting down with them, or you're over the phone screening with them to get additional information to find that proper fit of plan for them. The better you can focus on them to match them with the right product, the longer they're going to stay with you. It's a great retention. And I know it's really hard to block everything out, but you need to. They really do deserve 100% of your attention when you're selling. You're making, this is a business. You're making money on that sale. So definitely they have hired you to give them your attention. And it just kind of wraps things up for, some of the common sales mistakes. Definitely, make sure that you're listening to your customers, you're giving your customers that attention, you're staying on task and organized. Do the best that you can to do right by your customer. Make sure that it's a fun and positive experience for them to help, with that client retention, as well as, potentially gain some maybe new prospects out of referrals because you've been such a great agent to them. If you guys have any questions on anything today, or you want us to cover anything on the next Monday, please feel free, shoot us an email. You guys want us to touch base on a new carrier or a new product line, definitely feel free to shoot that, comment over to us in an email at training@ahcpsales.com, or you can call into agency services as well and talk to the team there. They'll pass along the message to Dan or myself. We're always willing to listen to you guys. We're here for you guys to, definitely provide some great information to help you guys out and better your sales. And to just kind of close up today, I thought we'd end with a quote by Thomas Edison. I think everyone is familiar with the fact he was a famous American inventor as well as businessman. I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So definitely he was a fantastic inventor and businessman that, would not give up. He just kept continuing to push forward, find new avenues, and keep learning from his mistakes. So I think we can all learn from that. I hope you guys have a wonderful week of selling. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Dan or myself. We're here to help support you guys and would love to be able to, provide as much information as we can. It's going to wrap up the week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. I did want to throw out there, I apologize, little side note, that we do have a training for Mutual of Omaha, 2 different plans that we're going to be covering for disability as well as critical illness coming up on the 21st at, I believe, 9 a.m. Pacific time as well as 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, and that's on the 21st. You can always check out AHCP Sales website on the calendar and go sign up. We'll also have some marketing emails going out about it, so you can make sure to take a look. You guys have a wonderful week, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Thank you.